Outstanding effort again.
We're busting ours to kick yours.
That's big time.
-15.
Respect all, fear none.
Oh, did he belt that one?
Intensity is not a perfume.
It was a no-doubter.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
MASN All Access is brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, play home run riches, walk-off winnings, progressive game for a chance to win the growing jackpot all season long. Hi everyone, welcome into our August Maryland Lottery show. Amy Jennings and Annie Claff here with you. And Annie, the power came in bunches for the Orioles in the month of August. So they're multi-homer games. They had 2 back-to-back games in the middle of the month, and then later in the month they had 3 multi-homer games in a row. And not just that is interesting. Another interesting fact is that all of these multi-homer games that we're going to talk about came against the Astros.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a September kind of Maryland Lottery show because we've had a lot of walk-off winnings as of late. But when you look back at that series against the Astros specifically, you had a really exciting set of news that's happened. First, you had the Brandon Young almost perfect game through 8 innings, who kind of had that ruined by Ramon Arias, a little bit of a farewell or hello to his former team at that point in time, and then the Dylan Beavers debut and Samuel Basayo debut. So that was a really exciting series against the Astros in Houston, which got off to a great start with some multi-homer games.
Yeah, the first game we're going to talk about there is a dominant 7-0 win for the Orioles over the Astros, which included home runs from Kobe Mayo and Dylan Carlson. Dylan Carlson actually homered in back-to-back games that series. Annie, what'd you like out of that game?
Yeah, for Carlson specifically, I mean, it was his first home run since June, that August 15th, so it was a little bit for him to kind of get back into form, especially because he had that one long slump where he wasn't hitting at all. So to kind of get 2 back-to-back home run games for Dylan Carlson in that series was huge, especially also with Kobe Mayo, his 3rd home run, or would be his 3rd home run of the month of August. So a little bit more settling in for him both on offense and defense. But again, like I mentioned, it was that Brandon Young game that was kind of the storyline of that August 15th. So you had a little bit of the great side of things on the pitching front, and then you also had the offense to back him up.
Yeah, you mentioned some exciting thing that series. Another exciting thing that happened that series was the debut of Dylan Beavers. Annie, you're like 2025. And, you know, a season like this for the Orioles, just how much can a debut like that mean for the organization?
Yeah, I mean, just for Beavers and Basayo, who both made their debuts in that season, it's huge, especially when you have a 2025 season, like you mentioned, that hasn't gone according to plan. There were expectations set in 2024, playoff expectations after making it both in 2023 and 2024. Obviously did not go that way in 2025. So when you get to the point of time on August 15th, when you are allowed to bring up rookies and then they still can maintain rookie status for the next season to be able to kind of, who knows, maybe be AL Rookie of the Year next year for both of them. It's a really exciting time to have some of the top prospects in Dylan Beavers and Samuel Basayo make their debuts so that you can kind of look forward to something in 2026, have them work alongside some of this core team that was still existing after the trade deadline. So really, really exciting stuff to see Dylan Beavers, Samuel Basayo interact with this core that still exists.
Right, right. Well, let's hear from Beavers, who sat down with Rob Long after that debut.
Friday, you're playing against the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Yeah. On Saturday, you get ready to play your first big league game against the Houston Astros. Take me through the whirlwind of emotions right now.
There's definitely a lot. Kind of just feel like sped up. You know, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I got to do today, and you know, I feel like once the game starts, so I'll just be honed in on the game, and everything will slow down.
You're the newest guy in the clubhouse. These guys have been here already. Do you feel the need to kind of play it cool, even though inside your stomach is doing jumping jacks right now?
I think they know how, you know, because they've all been there. So I feel like everybody has an idea of how I'm feeling. So no, I'll be pretty transparent about it. You know, just trying to slow everything down.
You turned 24 years old, 5 days ago? How cool is this to be surrounded, your birthday to be surrounded by this moment right here?
It's been awesome. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have dreamt it any better. So yeah, it's great. I've been looking forward to this moment my entire life. I immediately called my parents. They were the first people I called, and my dad was, I don't think he believed me for a second, and then my mom was overwhelmed with emotion. But yeah, I think, they were super proud, and couldn't be here without them. So, they were obviously my first call.
Who was your first coach, and did you give him a call?
Yeah, my hitting coach that I grew up hitting with, his name's Mike Murphy. Yeah, he's believed in me since I was 8 years old, and I immediately had to call him because I wouldn't be where I am without him either.
Just a couple of years ago, this organization was loaded with outfielders. Some have been traded away, and now you find your way here. Was there ever a moment when you felt like you'd never get here?
There's definitely moments, baseball's challenging, and there's days where you kind of question it, but I feel like if you keep showing up and putting in the work, eventually it'll all work out. But yeah, I wasn't certain whether I'd be with the O's or a different organization when I made my debut, and I'm super blessed and happy that I get to do it with the O's.
Now, in those moments, naturally you put in the work, but in those moments when you felt like you weren't going to get there, what got you through it?
I just love baseball. I love, showing up, hitting, and putting in work. I think just kind of improving that, the long-term getting better, and trying to get to the goal of where I want to be, it kind of kept me motivated. And just day in, day out, you get to see kind of it's almost like a stock, you're trending upwards. There's down days, but you're trending in the right direction if you keep at it. So that's kind of what kept me going. It's like you're going to have bad days, but you got to keep going if you want to get where you want.
That young man that just ducked out of our camera just now, Jackson Holliday, good friend of yours. How important was he throughout this process?
He's been awesome. I've been with him since we were drafted, and obviously he came up here last year, and it's been awesome getting to kind of hear his experiences up here and see how his journey's been. And he's an awesome dude, awesome friend, great player, and I'm super pumped that I get to share a clubhouse with him again.
I know you heard a lot of advice, a lot of words of wisdom. What's the one thing that stands out to you as far as advice more than anything you've heard?
The one I've just been hearing a lot is it's the same game, and I kind of felt that when I went out there for BP and stuff. Obviously it's not the game yet, but getting out there and swinging, shagging, throwing, that it just kind of slows it all down, because I realize that it's the same game. There's just a lot more going on around. So.
Well, it's about to get real for you, and this is highly anticipated debut. We can't wait to see you. I'm going to try to get up in those stands to meet up with your parents, but we are excited to have you, and I hope you are equally excited.
Yeah, super excited. Thank you.
Well, while we're talking about the young guys, Annie, let's talk about the Orioles' 3-homer game that happened at the end of August, which featured home runs from Ryan Mountcastle, but it also featured home runs from Jeremiah Jackson and Samuel Basayo. Jackson and Basayo obviously have had very different journeys to get to this point, but let's just talk about how much these have meant to this team in this short time here.
Yeah, I think Jeremiah Jackson specifically is someone that you wouldn't necessarily have expected to perform as well as he has. At least for Beavers and Basayo, where the bat translated immediately, you kind of expected that because they were those types of prospects that you knew their bats were going to translate immediately. For Jeremiah Jackson, though, it took a little bit of some time for him to make it to the big leagues. But ever since now, he has a 314, 346, 521 slash line and an 867 OPS. So at some point you're going to have to kind of figure out where Jeremiah Jackson slots into the lineup in 2026. But for Basayo, at least, it was his first career home run, so great news to see from him. And then obviously the veteran at this point, Ryan Mountcastle, who we have seen focus a little bit too much on pulling the ball, but at least since he came back from the injured list on August 8th, he hasn't really put too much pressure on those pull side home runs, and he hasn't really been focusing too much on pulling the ball ball for a home run. Instead, it's come naturally to him, and he's been great ever since.
Yeah, well, a lot of home runs to come, I am sure, for some of these young guys. We've already seen a really exciting month of September, especially this last week for the Orioles. But for now, that's going to do it for our August edition of our Maryland Lottery Show. For Annie Claff, I'm Amy Jennings, and MASN All Access is brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Play Fast Play Home Run Rich's walk-off winnings progressive game for a chance to win the growing jackpot all season long.